Welcome, mothers and others. I'm so excited because tonight it is Wednesday, and it is Wednesday, January 31st, which I just can't believe it's already the end of January. This month kind of has flown by for me. Usually, January is the longest year of my life, and this particular time it kind of flew by. So I'm so glad you all are here tonight. We have four wonderful candidates to introduce you to. And the best part is that we get to start out with one of my favorite people on the planet. So I'm so excited to have a little bit of a conversation with James Talarico. And I'm going to ask James a couple extra questions and hang out for that because hopefully it'll be interesting and you all will learn something. So, first of all, there's a lot of news going on right now in Texas politics, and I'm going to ask James Talarico if he could really just kind of give us a little bit of insight on some things that are happening in Texas. So, hang on tight for that. Let's go right ahead and we're just going to hit it. We're going to hit it. We're going to start at the top. Let me introduce you to James Talarico. He is running for Texas House District 50. He represents Texans in Travis County, and I'm so happy to introduce him to you. So, James, can you tell us a little bit about, who you are for anybody who doesn't know you yet, and why you're running for office and what you have done the last few terms while you've been in office?
Yeah, Nancy, thanks for having me. The feeling is very mutual. Not only are you one of my favorite people, but this organization is one of my favorite organizations. Y'all do so much good for the people of this state and for our party. So just want to thank you and to the folks watching who are part of this group. My name is James Talarico. I have the honor of serving as state representative for House District 50. And I'm a former teacher, former middle school teacher. I often joke that teaching middle school is the best preparation for serving in the Texas legislature, because if you can handle the drama of a middle school classroom, you can certainly handle the drama on the floor of the Texas House. And I've been blessed to have the opportunity to serve. Oftentimes, we as Democrats are given the choice between leaders who can get things done and leaders who can fight back. And my team and I try to do both at the state capitol. We've been able to pass major legislation to bring down the costs of prescription drugs, including insulin. We just passed a major bill to import cheaper prescription drugs from Canada. We've also passed bills to bring down childcare costs. Some of your listeners may know that childcare is now more expensive than college in the state of Texas. And we just passed major legislation to give property tax exemptions to childcare centers in our state, which voters approved by an overwhelming margin with Prop 2 on the constitutional election ballot. And we've also passed bills to fight the fentanyl crisis. We just passed legislation to put Narcan, which is an opioid reversal medication, on every school campus in the state of Texas. So we got stuff done. We worked across the aisle to be productive and help our constituents. But then I also fought back against Republican extremism. I led the fight against their book banning bill in the past session. I led the fight against their Christian nationalist legislation that would have blurred the lines between the separation of church and state. And then, of course, led the effort to defeat Greg Abbott's voucher scam that would have defunded our neighborhood schools. So all of that is why I'm asking my constituents to send me back for a fourth term in the Texas House.
Wonderful. Yes, you did great work this past legislative session. I am so appreciative. So, what are the top three issues that you feel are the most important for your district right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. Number one is the quality and the accessibility of our public schools. A lot of folks in the suburbs that I represent move there because of the opportunities presented by our public schools, and those schools are under attack as we speak. And this organization was key in helping us defeat those voucher scams that would have taken our hard-earned tax dollars out of our public schools and given them to unaccountable private schools. Second is access to healthcare and the cost of prescription drugs, which I just mentioned. We have the highest number of uninsured people here in Texas in the entire country, and the refusal of Texas Republicans to expand Medicaid is one of the most immoral decisions that the legislature has made in recent history. And the last, I think, is childcare, which I mentioned earlier. And you've got working parents who are struggling to find opportunities for their kids to be in an enriching environment. You may know that 85% of a child's brain develops before the age of 3. This is prime time in child development. It can be a game changer if we as a society will be present in that window of those first 1,000 days of a child's life. So those are the three issues I hear most about, but that's along with gun safety and abortion rights and all kinds of important issues that we hear about on a regular basis.
Those are absolutely excellent, especially considering that we actually have daycare and pre-K deserts in
That's
Texas
right.
where there's towns where they don't even have these services. So it's so important that we do everything we can to expand these services across the state. I definitely see that. So James, I have a question for you. So this is a little bit off, just I really want to ask you right now. There's so much going on in Texas, and this week the news has been like insane and crazy. So, can you give us a little bit of insight on what you think and how you feel the issue on the border is going? Because it feels to us like everyday Texans, it feels like we have a little bit of a standoff situation between the federal government and Texas, and it doesn't feel so good. It's a little
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and we're hearing words that maybe we don't want to hear right now. And it just seems like it is coming to a head. So I just wanted to see what insight you possibly have or what you think is going on.
Yeah, this issue is exactly why so many people hate politics and hate politicians like Greg Abbott and Donald Trump because they say one thing and then they do another, right? They spend all their time screaming about the border, but then congressional Republicans refuse to even engage in dialogue about the bipartisan border security bill in Congress, all because Donald Trump wants the chaos so that he can campaign on it. I mean, this is politics at its worst. There's a problem on our southern border. There's a problem in our immigration system. It's a problem for citizens. It's a problem for our undocumented neighbors. And it's a problem for migrants who are searching for opportunity and for safety in our country. And so it's broken all the way around. But there are solutions that could actually fix this problem. We could reform our asylum system. We could relieve our visa backlog. We could modernize our ports of entry, where, by the way, 93% of the fentanyl gets in through our ports of entry. And because they haven't been modernized, we can't detect it. So these are common sense solutions that could both ensure public safety, could protect migrants, particularly children and mothers who are trying to cross our border, and also reflect our values as a country of immigrants. And so we need desperately to elect folks who will approach this problem with common sense, with compassion, and just fix the problem, because that's, I think, what most Texans and most Americans want.
Well, amen to that. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you just said. So, one of the other news items that happened in the last couple of weeks was that we found out that Greg Abbott got a $6 million donation from a billionaire in Pennsylvania that is pushing vouchers. And how is this going to be reflective of, honestly, the primary that is happening now, as well as the November election? I mean, we're seeing lots of dirty money coming through Texas, and this is going to hurt.
Yeah, I don't think people quite realize that this issue of private school vouchers is being pushed by these incredibly wealthy special interests, not just this billionaire from Pennsylvania, but also from the two billionaires from West Texas, Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilks, who are not just fossil fuel executives, but they're also Christian nationalist pastors who believe some pretty scary things that most of us don't want reflected in public policy in Texas. And so those are the people that Greg Abbott works for. He doesn't work for us, right? We only pay him about $140,000 a year. He works for the folks who pay him the big bucks, which are these billionaire mega donors. And these are the same billionaire mega donors who are trying to dismantle our public schools across the state. And I think that's a message that will hopefully unite Democrats and Republicans and independents in this effort to save public education, because this is not a left versus right issue. This is a top versus bottom issue. These are wealthy folks at the top who want to take away opportunity from the rest of us. And that's what's at stake in these primaries coming up And so it's more important than ever that folks get engaged, that they volunteer, that they donate, because big money is powerful, but it's nothing compared to people power. And that's what we have. And we need to mobilize that if we're going to save our public schools in the upcoming election.
Okay, so you said one of my favorite words, mobilize. So can you give mobilization, right?
That's right. Right.
Could you can you talk to the people out there and say, what is it going to take for us? Give us a little bit of encouragement on what we need to do right now to start mobilizing in Texas.
Yeah, well, I can just tell you from personal experience because I got elected by flipping a Trump district. The district that I won in Williamson County in 2018 had voted for President Trump just 2 years before I ran. And so I had to mobilize everyone in my community to win that district. And I had to build a big tent that included not just Democrats, but also independents and Republicans. And it was because of folks like those that are in this organization, those that are watching, who knocked on doors, who made phone calls, who sent text messages, who wrote postcards, who donated $5, $10, $25 a month to get me elected. And I won with 51% of the vote. So literally every action that those volunteers took made a difference. And that's exactly what it's going to take to win back Texas. And so those that are on this call have already taken the first step, which is getting engaged, getting knowledgeable about politics at a local level. Now it's just the next step, which is taking action, whether that's donating, whether it's volunteering, or whether it's all the above. We desperately need you to get in the fight because we're up against some powerful forces who want to tear us apart and who want to destroy our state. And you're the only one that can stop that. And so I'm deeply honored to be on this call with the people who are going to win this state and who are going to take back power for the people of Texas.
Thank you so much. So now I get to ask you the question that I've sort of been waiting to ask you now since I figured out that you were going to be on our calendars. So, okay, James, are you thinking about running for governor in
Well,
26?
right now I'm mostly thinking about running for reelection and winning my seat back. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I'm interested in running statewide. I think and I think my team have a lot to offer our party and most importantly our state. And so I'm going to be looking at those opportunities in the next few election cycles. And when the time's right for me and if I can contribute to the work that our party is doing, I'll certainly take the leap because we need good people, we need young people, we need former teachers running for office at all levels, and I want to be a part of that.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I want to be a part of that too. So sign me up. I think that sounds great. I mean, I'm going to be the first volunteer on your team for sure. I'm excited about that. So tell us, James, where can we find you and how best can we support you right now?
Yeah, you can visit my website, jamestalarico.com, and you can pitch in. Any amount of money helps. You can also sign up to volunteer on our website. And then you can find me on social media. My handle is at James Talarico on Twitter, on Instagram, and now on TikTok. I just joined TikTok, and it's been a great way to reach people who are not in our political bubble. So if you're on TikTok, find me there too.
Wonderful. Well, James, I know you live really close to me here in Travis County, so I know I'm going to see you on the campaign trail soon. So thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and talk to us tonight. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail.
Thank you, Nancy. It was good to talk to you.
You too.